Hey guys, I just wanted to make a relatively short video. This one's going to be about the burden of proof. Um, I haven't been an atheist for very long, about 2.5, 3 years. Before that, I was kind of a Christian-oriented deist because I was starting to really reject the faith, and particularly the doctrinal parts of it. And before that, I was relatively uneducated, as a lot of Christians are, about the Christian religion and just kind of went along with it. I was never a fundamentalist. I was never devout, which in my case meant that I didn't go to church every Sunday. But I attended a bunch of church groups and stuff in my youth. I'm a confirmed Lutheran. I was baptized and all that. But I digress. The burden of proof is usually explained in philosophical terms, or because it's so basic to an argument against theism that it's not explained at all, even when people are talking about it specifically. And I didn't really understand it for the longest time. And even when I did eventually come to understand it, I thought it was a very complicated concept. But thanks to a guy I've subscribed to recently, the Messianic Manic, I found out that it's very simple. The burden of proof, as it is used when we argue, means that when someone is making a claim, the burden of proof is on the person making the claim. You don't just run up to somebody and say, there's a blue unicorn in my backyard, now prove it isn't so. Okay, it doesn't work that way. Now, theists have a hard time understanding this. I guess maybe because to them the idea of God is self evident. They've always believed in God. And a lot of them also tend to make a fallacy called an argument ad populum, I believe, which means that, well, everybody's a theist. Most of us are theists, even if most of us aren't Christians. And usually, when one of them is making that argument, they're in a situation where most of them are Christian, and this many people can't be wrong. I mean, this many people can't be wrong argument, the argument ad populum, the fallacy, is very, very common. Unfortunately, so even in works that attempt to be taken seriously philosophically. Um, Now, the way Messianic Manic put it for me made it make a lot of sense. Is that he said that the idea of God, the definition of God, is incoherent, which means it doesn't make any sense. God created time but is timeless. God created space but is spaceless, and it does not is beyond space and beyond time. Well, it makes no sense. How could there be a before the universe, or how could there be a before time, and how can there be a space for God to exist in or of or be a part of when there's no space? And what made it kind of click for me is some people call all of this, the everything that is around us in its totality, creation. Some call it the universe, and some call it reality. And for God to be separate from and apart from reality makes him unreal, not real. And that's why it's incoherent. It doesn't make any sense. And really, it's unfortunate that some of their best stuff and their William Lane Craig heavy-handed stuff is the first cause type arguments and stuff. And I don't always understand philosophical concepts, and I usually try to make my channel from a layman point of view, because I am a layman when it comes to a lot of this stuff. But whereas in begging the question can often be a complicated thing to explain depending on the concept or what's being explained, it's very easy to say, well, if God created everything, who created God? Begs the question. If you keep going to a first cause, well, no. What's before that? Now, the reason why a theist has the burden of proof can be explained very simply, in that when and this isn't exactly the way this needs to be explained. And any philosopher or logics guy might get angry at me for explaining this, because this might even beg the question and stuff. But it's solid enough, so let's go. God is not evident. There's no evidence that he exists. It's not even easy to grasp the concept. Okay, we got a timeless, spaceless thing. You can't summon it. You can't see it, or taste it, or touch it, or smell it. You can't even, and by definition, it's untestable. God is unverifiable. He is apart from the fucking universe. You can't see him. You can't find him. You can't quantify his power. You, and therefore, it is silly to say that an atheist, the person who doesn't believe in God, has the burden of proof, because it's very easy to claim there is no God. It is, in fact, extremely hard to claim there is one. And it's very clear from apologists that they got nothing. The best we can do is the old Banana Man, creation implies a creator. No, it doesn't. When he uses a building, well, a building is obviously created. The universe is, in fact, not obviously created. And it's actually a stretch of the imagination to believe a sentient mind formed all these things that very obviously, if you understand even a modicum of the physics of it, very obviously just exist on their own. There's no signature. There's no watermark. There's no nothing. There's not even a real uniformity to everything that isn't explained at a complex mathematical level. The best I got is gravitation attracts all solid matter into spherical objects. God must be a sphere. It's a signature. It's the uniformity of everything is that everything's spherical. It's a more valid premise than a personal, interested God who watches everything you do, knows the number of hairs on your head, is interested in who you have sex with, how you have sex, what you eat, what you wear. See, I only doubted God at a very basic level before I started looking at the evidence, started watching debates, started reading information, doing research, listening to both sides. I've read The Case for Christ and I've seen reviews for many other apologetics books. They should start accusing each other of plagiarism because they all have the same three really weak arguments that pad out this entire book and stuff. And I should be an evangelist because it's easy money. All you have to do is without fear of repercussion plagiarize shit that's been written like 100 years ago and copied and copied and copied since and rake in the millions. So that's what I got. Look, the burden of proof is very clear. God is not only a fantastical claim, it's a claim that makes no sense. And the reason why it's fantastical is because there is no evidence that is not entirely circumstantial and is not out and out hearsay. The entirety of the Bible is unsubstantiated hearsay. It could say anything. The Bible is less substantiated than Harry motherfucking Potter, okay? It's not worth believing, and they have every last bit of the burden of proof to try to explain that entire thing as fact. That's all I got. Thanks for watching.